From Tally to Cali,
It's time
to wake up.
Wake up! Wake up!
Warchant.com is your ultimate Seminole sports source.
And this is Wake Up Warchant, presented by Corner Pocket Bar and Grill.
One more corner pocket.
Now here's Warchant.com's Aslan Hajavandi.
And Corey Clark.
Wake up! What is up, everybody? It is Wake Up Warchant, presented by Corner Pocket Bar and Grill. It is bingo night at the Corner Pocket Bar and Grill. Go check it out. Coming up on today's show, Renegade Express, mailbag, lots of questions, lots of new posters talking about this Clemson game. Wake Up Warchant, presented by Corner Pocket Bar and Grill, Tallahassee, Florida. CPTallybar.com is the website. Pull out the phone, QR code, camera app, snap. Check out the menu. Maybe beforehand so you know what you want to order when you show up Friday to watch Corey Clark and Jeff Cameron hanging out from 5:30 to 6:30, and even beyond that for their happy hour, which it'll be on air, Warchant TV Live, 5:30 to 6:30. But those two gentlemen, men of the people, they'll be hanging out, shaking hands, glad-handing, giving some insights into the game, which are some insights I'll give Corey off the air because I can't put it out there for everybody to listen to. And if you show up to Corner Pocket Bar and Grill or the Hotel Indigo for the pregame show, I'll let you know what I told Corey. It's nothing earth-shattering, but
Are you coming to Corner Pocket on Friday then? Is that what I'm hearing?
Maybe,
Ooh,
Corey.
Nice, man. All right.
Got to get us back on that winning track, you know?
Yeah.
So we'll see how that all goes. Warchant.com, Ultimate Seminole Sports Source. Thumbs up to everybody listening to us on YouTube. We certainly would appreciate it. There's 35,000 or so of you. Not all of you listen to the show, but, hit the thumbs up. Subscribe to the YouTube page. It's totally free. Warchant.com, only $10 for an entire year.
And there was when you're on the tribal council, occasionally you'll get a celebrity like myself or Aslan to chime in with some thoughts. And I saw last night a guy was coming into town. I haven't checked the thread since, but he was coming into town. I mean, this is just crazy. And he's like, "Hey, I'm finally going to be able to get in Tallahassee on a Friday night. I'll have my 21-year-old son and my 15-year-old son with me. Where should we go?"
Potbellies.
And the first three responses were Potbellies.
I saw it. No, I saw that.
You saw that, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, what kind of lunatic is telling a man old enough to have a 21-year-old son to go to Potbellies, you weird creeps? That drop your 21-year-old son off there for sure. Maybe even your 15-year-old son if he can handle it. But then you get your butt over to Corner Pocket and hang out with some grown-ups. That's all I'm saying. Hang out with some grown-ups. And Corner Pocket is good for kids. We got some friends that bring their kids, play some darts, a little golden tea. And last thing, if you want the Corey special, the thing I order the most at Corner Pocket to eat, because the food's good now. And,
great.
Look, my body's a temple, so I'm not going crazy with cheese curds, although they're very good, and I wish people at my table would stop ordering them, I get 10 wings, all flats, and then a side salad. Side salad's the truth, man. They put some cheese in there. They got, it's good stuff. It's real. It's good stuff. All of it. It's a real salad. So that's the Corey Clark special. Now, if you tell the waitress you want the Corey Clark special, she's gonna not know what you're talking about. So actually, go ahead and order the 10 chicken wings and the side salad, and you can have a body like this.
There we go. 1 minute less of Clemson talk because Corey giving you his culinary opinion on things.
It was more about what kind of lunatics are telling at least a 45-year-old man to go to Potbellies on a Friday night. But be sure to get there in the afternoon.
That's
what are y'all talking about?
Yeah. Well, you can go to Potbellies for happy hour, then swing over to Corner Pocket Bar and Grill, catch the last 30 minutes or so of
there you go.
The happy hour that you guys do.
Okay.
All right, Corey came up with a cool idea. He's like, hey, man, how about we showcase our new subscribers, our new posters first? So, well, it feels a little bit weird because I feel like then we're not promoting seniority. But with that said, I scrolled down and found this one. Nole_Dynasty. Wake up, longtime subscriber listener, first time asking a question.
Okay.
As of today, what probability? So we've got 6 players that he gives us. All right, so let's not go. Well, it's fine. We can do this. What probability percentage would you say that each of them returns next year? Build your own assumptions about NIL, draftability, etc.
Okay. All right.
Jared Verse, he says 20% chance. I'm going to go with like 55.
Oh, I would go 33.
Okay. Jordan Travis, he says 75%.
I would say 60.
I don't know where I'm at on that because the whole Michael Langston theory corollary about this is his last season, come hell or high water, maybe not that strong. I just don't know. Like, if you end up only winning 7 or 8, do you want to come back here? Are you welcome back here? I mean, you would be welcomed.
He's definitely welcome back. It's just a matter of, you have to have, his brother was a professional athlete that made it to the top of that mountain. He played in the major leagues for a few seasons and was good until his body broke down. It's just a matter of what is his future projection? What is he going to be doing in 2025? Is he going to be a football player making money in 2025 or even 2023? Sometimes you gotta strike when the iron's hot. That's another saying that I've come up with that I think's about to take off.
All right.
But I don't know that Jordan Travis will ever be more marketable than he is right now. Now, he might believe he's going to be an NFL quarterback. So, no, I'm saying he might go think he's going to be an NFL quarterback. Maybe he's just sick of college. Maybe he doesn't want to play football after this season. I have no idea. I think he still wants to play football, and I think he still wants to make money playing football. I believe in the kid. I think maybe there's a chance he sticks with an NFL team, I guess. But I know for a fact he can come back next year and make probably more money than he would ever make playing football. And so that's the equation he has to do and figure out if he wants to do it. That's why I say 60%. Certainly not 100, but not 33 either.
Okay. Fabian Lovett, he says 50%. He's like 99, right? He's gone. He coming back this year was even a little bit of a. I mean, maybe not 99. I would put 79%. How about that?
Yeah, I'd say 80, 75 to 80%. I think it matters. I mean, I don't know. He came back this year for a reason. If he was projected to be a really high draft pick, why would he have come back?
I did this wrong. I apologize. You're saying what's the percentage they come back? So I would say like 25% he comes back. I'm sorry. I did this all wrong.
Everybody, you can do the math.
Yeah.
So, that's what I was doing. Yeah, that's 33%. Jared Verse comes back. 60% Jordan Travis comes back.
Okay.
I would say with Fabian Lovett, it's like 25%. But it depends now. If he goes out and doesn't do anything for the rest of the season, then what changed? Like if he's willing to go out this year after one game.
That Duquesne film, buddy.
The Duquesne film. I mean, I know he was good against LSU, but I don't know that that's going to, he came back for a reason, and it was to up the draft stock. And if he hasn't upped the draft stock, he still has another chance. Again, there is NIL money, and he would get a good chunk to come back. It's the new dawn of a new day, man. Like I still would say 25% because I do think he's going to come back, and I do think he's going to put enough on film, and I do think he's an NFL defensive lineman, but you never know for sure.
The irony that maybe he returns for the bowl game, right? Guys sit out bowl games. He's probably like
That's right. He's
got
to put something on film. That's right.
Micah Pittman coming back, I'd say 80%.
Yeah, I'd say probably 90%.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, I'd say 85 to 90%.
Yeah, I mean, Johnny Wilson, same thing. I'd say 80%.
No, Johnny Wilson, I'd say is about 55, 60.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean, he's much more projectable and draftable. He's a 6'7" guy that can move. I would say 55% that he comes back.
He dropped the ball on Wednesday that kind of made me a little bit upset, but otherwise I thought he had a pretty good day, pretty good week, so we could see maybe a big game from Clemson out of him, and that probably helps.
Yeah.
Wilson. Pokey, I guess? I'm guessing.
Pokey's a senior, so I'm going to say 0% chance.
Yeah, I think he's totally exhausted, everything.
Yeah.
And then Winston Wright, 99.9%.
What would he do? Like, what would he if he was good enough to go pro and dip his toes in the NFL? He would have done it last year, and now he came back this year and hasn't done anything. So I would say it's a very good chance he comes back. But 90%.
Nate K, Wake TF up, first time poster. Grew up in Tallahassee. Now I live in Orlando. I rep the 407. He names all these famous people from Orlando: Mandy Moore, Warren Sapp, Delta Burke, etc. Shout out Delta Burke. When my wife listens to the show, she does not believe that Corey is not, in fact, Kenny Powers. She thinks they sound exactly alike. I always correct her and say that. While Corey does love tearing up Myrtle Beach on his boogie board, they are not
Murtaugh, KP. Yeah, no, I don't sound like Kenny Powers, do I? Come on now. I know I got a bit of a southern twang, but not that pronounced.
I think we're going to be able to – I think we can bundle this with another one. His question is, I love Alex Atkins and what he has done for the program and the offensive line, but by promoting him to offensive coordinator, has the unintended consequence been too much on his plate and also Norvell's plate? Would our offense look any different and or have better results if Dillingham had been replaced with a play caller and Atkins kept the same position, is focused solely on the offensive line? Thanks for giving us the best FSU podcast there is. He put that in all caps. That's why I put the emphasis there. Drink to Luna, eat at Zaxby's. Remember King Love and go Noles. And then Mobile Knoll, wake up. Any play caller in the ACC to help out Norvell as an analyst or a co-offensive coordinator, who would you take? So he sounds – actually, maybe that wasn't, but maybe we'll come back to the end of the show if we get to that one. At this point, listen, the first 4 weeks, wasn't a problem, right? Offense looked great. Offense looked really good. Now when you start losing, you start looking for some warts, whether they're there or not. I don't think Mike has done anything bad. I don't think he's done any play call wise, in-game management stuff because he's stressed out or overloaded at this point. I mean, the way he's using the kicker right now, I don't know. Maybe if he wasn't calling plays, he'd have more time to think about it as the offense is marching down the field, what he wants to do, as opposed to trying to figure out what his next 2 play calls are going to be. But that hasn't affected, I don't think, his game management. But I think just on the whole, man, of him coming into work every day at his best, again, man, he's having to factor that into his play calls, what he's going to do without having a kicker. Quarterback has been really erratic on the sidelines after bad situations the last 2 weeks, so he's having to use some time to calm him down rather than flip the page and focus on the next drive. He's got to go and calm this guy down. I mean, those are the sort of things that I don't know it would help him if he had. I don't know if there's a play caller if that would necessarily help him, but it'd be something less you'd have to worry about. What do you think, Corey?
Yeah, I mean, again, I'm going to kick this can down the road. They did not look good on Saturday night in that second half. It was gross. That first half was great considering the opponent. That was about as well as you can play on offense. And I feel like for the most part they played well on offense. But now you're 2 weeks in a row where you scored a total of 38. You're averaging 19 points a game over your last 2 games. That's not great. And now you got the best defense of the bunch coming. So if we look at it after this Saturday, you're probably going to be looking at another 17 or 20, hopefully 28, hopefully 50 points, but you're probably not going to do that against Clemson. The offense will struggle a little bit again Saturday, clearly, because everybody does. I don't want to look at it in the vacuum of these 3 weeks. I want to take a step back, and I know that's not the question that's asked. Let's see what it looks like after 12 games, man. If those numbers have gone up from whatever they were last year, if they've risen by 5 or 6 points, if they've won 8 games, if the offense looks offensive, then you feel good about what Norvell has done. And right now, yeah, it's easy to say, man, bring in another OC. It's clearly too much, but that was one bad half. Let's see what it looks like after they're done playing the whole full slate. It's just hard to judge right now with these 3 opponents right back to back to back, in my opinion.
Well said, Corey. Sorry, I got a little tangled up there. Quite literally.
Oh, okay. Sorry, buddy.
You're fine. Scrolling back up, let's get back on track here. Jimbo 11, do we have a big-time field goal kicker in our 23 class? I see there's a kicker from Lincoln who has visited FSU and is called a 5-star kicker. There are no 5-star kickers according to our parent company. I don't know what it's called parent company, but our network on 3. There's only 8 ranked kickers, and every single one of them is already currently committed to another program. Apparently the kicker from Lincoln is first-team All-State, but no one is committed to this program right now. And I don't know how aggressive they'll be. Maybe that's the next thing in the portal, right? Find a kicker, pull him away, but maybe that creates a bidding war, unless it's a kicker at, I don't know, James Madison or somewhere like that.
Well, look, man,
shout out to the Dukes. Moving up to FBS, and they're ranked already.
Yeah, they're for real. Look, man, go get – this would be my – if it doesn't get any better over the last half of this season, and you go into the Florida game still not sure if you can make a 37-yard field goal, then that's it. This kid this is his 3rd year kicking. So you can't go back into next season with this guy as your kicker if it doesn't get better. And so, yeah, it's a dereliction of duty if you don't go, and I just said the word duty, if you don't go and get a kicker in the portal. How many kickers, Aslan, would love to kick at Florida State that are kicking? Like I watched Georgia play Kent State. And Kent State's kicker in Sanford Stadium is bombing 40, 45-yard field goals like they're nothing, right down the pipe. Now, that might have been his best day of the year. He might not be a very good kicker and just had a good day that I saw. But there are kickers like that all over the country that you can go get and would have no problem getting them. There would not be a bidding war. You could go try to get the big fat kid from Missouri. He's fun to watch, and he's got a huge leg. But there might be a bidding war for that kid. And he's also he's like a campus legend on that. So I don't know that he'd leave, but there are kickers at smaller schools all across the country that would almost certainly be an immediate upgrade. Go get them. Go get the best one of the bunch. It's not like you have to pay them a boatload of money to go get the Kent State kicker.
I can't believe I dislike something I love so much, college football. We're going to go poach away.
Hey, man.
That's it.
But isn't that cool for the kicker? Like, let's say he was a 1-star, nobody wanted him, so he had to go to Kent State. And now he's got a chance to go kick in meaningful games. It's good for him. Like it's bad for Kent State, but ever since that shooting in the 70s, I have no ill. I have no.
It was the 60s. We're moving on.
I think it was the 70s, man. I think it was like 71 or 72. Sorry, anyway.
Actually, maybe right. I think Nixon was in office at that point.
Yeah, that's right. Yep, that's right.
Look it up, kids. XDQ004, wake up. Tough loss Saturday, but it's Clemson week. And if you need help getting up for this one, you don't have a pulse. That is right. All this injury news is weird. The guys in the desert only have Clemson favored by 3.5. What's that mean? In my opinion, with our MASH unit, they should be favored by at least a touchdown. So Doak's going to be rocking. I'm expecting a loose set of Noles, and we'll win 24-21. Here's my question. In your opinion, not counting 12, 13, and 14, your favorite win over Clemson. His is 92.
That was Charlie. Yeah, that was the first time they played him as an ACC team. He said not counting what?
12, 13, and 14.
Then 88, the punt Ruski. That's a no-brainer. I just looked up Andrew Glass. He's the kicker at Kent State. He's 8 of 12. He's 4 of 4 from 40 yards and in.
Okay.
And then from 40 but from 40 to 49, he's only 3 of 7. And then 50 plus, he's 1 for 1. Now 2 of them were blocked.
Okay.
So of the kicks that aren't blocked, he's 8 of 10. But so just throwing that out there. Is Andrew Glass coming to Florida State next year? I don't know. I just don't know. We'll have to see.
Yeah, so
but I would say 88. I mean, 88's got to be the answer, right? There are a lot of really good ones, but I think 88 just because of what it meant for the program and how famous that play ended up being. And plus, it's got the Dion punt return.
Yeah, 99 was cool. I mean, different kind of styles. 99 more of a nail biter. 2000, obviously, Winky to Snoop, one of my favorite plays of all time. The play action on the hip was beautiful. 2002, I was there. That was cool. Thursday night game in Doak. Greg Jones running over
Greg Jones
everybody.
play. Yeah, that was a good one.
So,
yeah.
a lot of tough one. But I guess if I had to pick one, I'll go with 2000 just because Clemson thought they were going to come here put a scare into us. And nope. Romp. Fun times.
The 2000, that was the Snoop game. Yeah, that was, what was I should know the final of that.
52-7 or something?
Yeah, something crazy. It's crazy. I don't remember that.
It is crazy. Come on, Corey. Speaking of kickers real quick, Wednesday, so in team period, I thought it was going to be the first time the offense didn't make it across the 50-yard line in that period. And I don't know, ever maybe. But shout out John Wilson. Huge catch, which was 4 yards behind him. Maybe not 4 yards, but no one else with that catch radius could have made that catch thrown behind them. Gets it onto the 31, sets up a 48-yard field goal, which was blocked by Shaheem Brown. I saw
Shaheem almost got one,
at
least one in that NC State game, which would have been really, really big because that kid wasn't missing.
Yeah, Mike lamented that after practice on Wednesday, too, how close he was. Some of the specialists were like, the laces were completely, they were completely backwards or something, which I don't know. Were they, maybe they were inwards instead of being laces out? Ray Finkel, hashtag. Ace Ventura, hashtag.
Yeah, you didn't even know that reference, though.
Now I do know. Now I do, though. But so he misses that, and they played that situation absolutely perfect because it was last second. You need to make the field goal. They finally get in the field goal range. They have to call timeout to set up the field goal. Then Papuchis runs out, ices him. So that's the most game-authentic situation you probably will have. But then 35 minutes later during period 11, Corey, where they pretty much designate a whole 2 minutes of just kicking field goals and everybody's huddled around them. They've got the speaker 4 feet away from the kicker. Norvell's hands on knees, crouched over, staring daggers into them. Absolutely drills a 32-yarder and a 43-yarder. So I don't know which one in your guys' books at home matters, but that's what you have right there. So your most authentic game situation gets blocked, duffed, whatever you want to call it, but then when you get the chance to redeem yourself, which I like how they spread it out, right? You do that period 3, then 30 minutes later, just the same way it would be in a football game. He nails both of them. So, and he also spoke to the media after practice on Wednesday, so maybe that makes Mike more likely to use him. So we'll see how it goes.
All right, buddy.
Nole for Life, 2009. Hello, Aslan and Corey. Wake up. Big fan of your work. I've been listening for several years now. Thanks, man.
Oh, nice. Thank you.
Which players on FSU's projected starting 22 for the game Saturday, not counting players that likely will not play due to injury? So the starting 22, how many of them would start for Clemson? I mean, two weeks
22.
ago, I would have said Jordan Travis would have started over DJ Uyunglele, but I think maybe DJ would start over Jordan right now. Shipley probably starts over Trayshawn Ward. Love Trayshawn Ward.
Yeah. I think Johnny Wilson starts.
He's one of the three guys. Yeah, if we're doing like a 3 wide here, 3 receivers, he's one of them. Yes.
For sure.
Offensive line, I don't know. Maybe a healthy Rob Scott. Maybe.
Maybe Gibbons. I mean, they're not incredible on the offensive line. I don't know enough about their personnel to say who's a lot better than Dylan Gibbons or Robert Scott.
That McFadden kid's pretty good.
On defensive line, nobody. Not even Verse, who's really good. Verse would be in the rotation for sure. He'd get reps. There's no doubt about it. Linebacker, neither one of those guys. Safety, Jamie Robinson would play for them. I think Akeem Dent would probably play for them. Corners,
no.
Last year's Amarian Cooper maybe, but not this one. So what are we looking at? 5?
Yeah.
6?
Yeah.
But look, it's not like you're comparing Jordan Travis to Trevor Lawrence. Like, yeah, you might stick with DJ, but the disparity isn't huge. Will Shipley's a very good running back, but I don't know that he's. It's not ETN versus LaDainian Webb. Like the gaps are
Webb's
more
having
narrow.
A really good season, man, for South Alabama.
So I was thinking like the 2020 guy. Yeah, he is. He's pretty good. He wouldn't play at Clemson. He wouldn't start at Clemson.
Yeah.
But so I think that like that's what I'm. The gaps have narrowed. Where like Fabian Lovett, if he was healthy, would play on that defensive line. Again, he probably doesn't start because they've got some flipping dudes. But Tatum Bethune, I think, would play. He wouldn't start, but he'd play. Their linebackers are crazy good too. So you know what I mean? But you've got guys that I think 2 years ago, I don't know that you would have had more than like when they were scheduled to play that Clemson game. So Marvin Wilson isn't playing, Corey Durden isn't playing. That game that was going to be played, I don't know that you would have had 3 guys that would have even made the trip for if they were on the Clemson's roster. Maybe 6 guys that make the trip. Now you've got guys that would at least be in the rotation. But the point is a fair one that, yeah, it's still you still look at Clemson's overall team and be like, yeah, well, it would be hard to – I think you'd have guys in the secondary that would play a lot. I don't think they have a great secondary at all. And I don't know that their wide receivers are special like they've had in the past. They got some good ones, but none that have proven a ton yet. Same with their quarterback. Like if their quarterback comes and plays well on Saturday night, I'll be a believer. Like, okay, this kid can play. But like he's much better than we thought he was in that Georgia Tech game. He's made improvements. He's a problem. Right now, I still when you judge him based on what Clemson has had at that position, he still seems way lower than what they've had and what you're used to seeing. So you hope you can take advantage of that. If he has a great game in that environment against a solid defense, certainly not a great one, but a solid one, then kudos to him, man. And they're going to be a playoff team. So this is, I think this is their last best chance to lose a game.
Growing up, my dad used to take me to the game at the stadium. We'd watch our favorite team play, and then we'd always eat at Zaxby's. That's why it means so much to me that Zaxby's is the official chicken of college fans. To me, they go together perfectly. It reminds me of my dad and...
Oh, come on, Ref! Are you serious? Get some glasses! Terrible call!
Now I take my kids to the game, and we always eat at Zaxby's too. It's tradition.
We're proud to be the official chicken of college fans. Zaxby's, indescribably good.
And don't forget to listen in for the Zaxby's Indescribably Good Player of the Week every Monday on Wake Up Warchant.
Bradley Moss, he doesn't have a question, just says, wake up, great articles by the staff emphasizing that guys are still trying to learn how to play winning football and not making the critical errors in the most crucial moments being the key thing. It reminded me of a classic Bruce Arians quote when he was coaching the Cardinals when he said, each week games come down to critical errors. It's really not as much about who makes a play, it's just who doesn't F it up. I believe we'll get back to playing winning football. They just need to go through it and hopefully learn from these experiences. Anyways, just thought I'd share that with the Warchant crew because that really resonated with me, especially after Saturday night. Let's finally get that Tiger off our backs. Doke at night, rockin'. Thanks, fellas. As always, go Noles. Spartan Noles 71. Our guy Ralph.
I think I got another kicker prospect, Aslan.
Okay.
Alex Rayner from Georgia Southern, redshirt junior. So you're only going to get him for a year. He currently leads the country in field goal percentage. He's 9 of 9. Nothing over 50, but he's 2 for 2 from 40 out, and then obviously he's made all these other ones. And for his career, he's made like 55 kicks now.
Okay.
So he's got some experience. I assume with Georgia Southern. Oh yeah, didn't he? He probably kicked a big kick against Nebraska, right? So he's got some of that experience too. I think maybe he's somebody you look at. Right now, he leads the country in field goal percentage. Well, he's actually behind the kid from NC State because the NC State kid is 11 of 11. Of course he is, and Georgia Southern's 9 for 9. But still, that's somebody to keep an eye on. Is he coming to Florida State, guys? I don't know. I'm not friends with Alex Rayner's family. I'm just saying there's starting to be some talk out there. Anyway.
Ralph, Hawaii, Spartan 071. Aloha, guys. How's it? Biggest offensive threat Clemson has that you feel we must deal with or it's lights out? He goes with Shipley.
Absolutely. Shipley's a player, man. And was it Fuller that said that after the game or on Monday that there were a couple plays up there last year where it seemed like he just kind of, his will, he just willed them to win. Like he just ran hard. He made some special plays. I don't remember a kick return, but I don't remember much from the game last year other than Jermaine Johnson and that Toafili play. But I can tell you everything you want to know about the 92 game. The 4 interceptions, Omar Ellison making a great diving catch to keep that drive going at the last game-winning drive. But, yeah, man, Shipley is the guy because, look, man, he's a good player anyway. He runs really hard. But also, if you can't stop him, if he's going to run for over 120, 130 yards just up the gut because you're still banged up in the middle of the defensive line, I really don't like your chances. I just don't. You're going to make it too easy for that offense. So if you can slow him down and make the quarterback beat you, I think you've got yourself a fighting chance, a good chance actually. But if they're going to run up the middle like Louisville and everybody else, Wake and NC State have for a good chunks of yardage, he's the best running back of the bunch that you've seen so far. So those 8-yard runs. Those 12-yard runs that you've been giving up against those running backs might turn into 40 and 50-yard runs with this kid. He is really hard to bring down, especially when he gets a lot of momentum going because there's nobody hitting him at the line of scrimmage. So got to have to stop him.
Old dad's a Nole. Wake up. I'm under the impression that one of the tasks of all these analysts is to evaluate trends. I say this because if anyone watching the game can see that we seem to run the same play on first down all the time, then the analysts better look at predictability before Saturday or it'll be a long night again offensively. Also, it's okay for a quarterback to audible out of it if it's based on pre-snap defense or maybe pull that ball back too, Look at the success they had when he did that, which has been driving me crazy all year. Cheers, old dad.
Agreed. I think he ran the ball once in the second half on like a design, like where he pulled it and ran, and I believe it was the first play of the second half, and he got 14 yards. Mm-hmm. And then I don't remember him doing it again. And that's frustrating because when he was handing it off, jack squat happened. It was 2nd and 12 almost all the time. Toafili had to run really hard to pick up that first down on 3rd and 1. Like that is I get it. It was frustrating. I don't think it's been necessarily a problem. It was just for the season. It was just a problem in that game, and I think they were too predictable. I think they didn't adjust quick enough. I think that's on Atkins, and I think that's on Norvell. Probably Norvell more so because he's the play caller. But after the first 2 drives where you can clearly see they've changed the way they've defended, you got almost 300 yards of offense in the first half. So you knew they were going to adjust something. But also, you don't want to just, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So I understand the first couple of drives, trying to do what you did in the first half. Some counters. Look, if Johnny Wilson catches the ball, that drive keeps going. If Dylan Gibbons doesn't lose his mind, that drive keeps going. And then who knows? Maybe NC State kind of backs down. But once that third drive happened and you clearly couldn't run the ball anymore, plus you didn't have your best running back, you've got to adjust to the adjustments. That's why you get paid a lot of money, man. And I just thought they were way too late to say, you know what? We're just going to go 4 wides and we're going to throw it. They can be short passes, like the throws to Toafili in the middle of the field.
They went 5 wide, like the last half of the fourth quarter.
But that last play, Toafili's in the backfield, but he's running a route. You know what I mean? But you've got 5 options. Like, why did it take that long to realize, okay, they're not going to let us run. So let's use our quarterback that we trust a lot, and let's him see the field and go make some safe throws and get this ball moving. The catch that Toafili had to start that last drive, that's a big play, man. It's 10 yards, great. You'd had 3 first downs before that, 2 first downs, I think, in the whole half. Why did it take you that long to start nickel and diming down the field? And that was troubling because you weren't going to run it on them clearly. So anyway.
Anyway, moving along. Teacher Nole, wake up. Do not tell me FSU cannot win games it's not supposed to. We live in a world where Ben Bernanke just won the Nobel Prize in Economics? Anything's possible.
Okay.
Did he really?
I don't know. I maybe, I guess.
He was
Don't
like
you still get?
he was the Fed chair when the 2008 housing crisis happened, I think, or Treasury Secretary. One of those.
I'll look
things.
it up.
He resided over one of the worst financial disasters in our country's history. You're right, Teacher Nole. They certainly can win. I think it's possible. Probable? I don't know. But certainly they can win games they're not supposed to. But they haven't won one of those. I don't know, maybe the North Carolina games, both of them. But anyhow, I digress. NYC Nole. Wake up, gents. It's Clemson week.
Yeah, it was him and two other economists won the Nobel Prize. I wonder if they still get paid $1 million. Don't you get $1 million for winning the Nobel Prize?
I don't know. Where's that money come from? They have like a
I don't know.
fundraiser beforehand?
I don't know. It's good. It's all good questions.
Speaking of good questions, NYC Nole. Ira said it first after that Wake Forest game, said the team did not look ready for prime time. Certainly seemed that way, but not just the last 2 weeks, but as far back as LSU. Your thoughts, and how do we get over the hump? Go Noles, beat Clemson, drink DeLuna coffee.
I thought they looked. I thought they were horrible in the fourth quarter of that game defensively, but I thought for the most part they looked very much ready for prime time against LSU.
Well, offensively, they didn't really do a lot either, but I guess.
Well, they did. They just screwed it up. They flipping fumbled at the 3.
Yeah, but they got the ball on the. I mean, they didn't move the ball down.
But I mean, they had 400. They had like 400 yards of offense. Again, in their first real game of the season, I thought they were fine. And they left some. Johnny Wilson could have caught a touchdown pass. Micah Pittman could have caught a touchdown pass. Your kid could have made a field goal. Like all these things you left, you probably should have scored 35 points in that game. I thought they looked fine on offense. They were certainly ready to play in that game on Saturday. It's not like they looked terrible. Yeah. They had 17 points at the half, and honestly, again, the biggest problem with this offense right now is leaving points out there. Like they should have had 27 points at half, probably. I mean, when you have 300 yards of offense.
That's nothing unique to this. Every team that's losing games is saying that, though, right, Corbin? Is there anything specifically you think?
But when you watch they're just not good in the red zone. They don't trust their kicker. So you get down to a team's 22-yard line, that should be 3 points. Instead, you're going for it. Also, Malik McClain drops a touchdown pass. Johnny Wilson drops that fourth down pass. Those are at least that's an extra 3 points at least. And then they have the ball, I think, at the 21-yard line and get called for an offensive pass interference. So instead of having 3rd and 1 at the NC State 21, they have 2nd and 20 at the 36. And even then, if Pokey makes that catch on the probably Jordan's best throw of the night on 3rd and 20, it's a 17-yard gain, and you're probably going for it again. But he didn't. So again, I would say at least 6, probably 10 points you left out there. And imagine being up 27-3 at the half. That's a wrap. And you can't look at NC State and be like, well, yeah, they left points out there too. Win. Anytime they got inside the 30, they scored. And it wasn't like they dropped open play. They dropped a bunch of passes. They caught everything that was close, and they didn't catch many. But you know what I mean? Like I don't think NC State's offense didn't get unlucky. They got exactly the amount of points they should have gotten. They milked everything out of what they got. Florida State wasn't close. They got inside the NC State 25-yard line 3 separate occasions and didn't score a single point out of it. You can't keep doing that.
Couldn't NC State say that about the Mastromano punt, the fact they had first down and on the 13-yard line or whatever it was, and all they got was a field goal?
But I'm saying they didn't earn it. They didn't earn it. Like Florida State drove down. They got the ball at the 13, went backwards 23 yards, and still got points. Meanwhile, Florida State 3 times drove inside, not got the ball at the 23, drove inside 40, 50, 60-yard drives inside the NC State 25-yard line and got a donut on all 3 of them. You can't keep doing that, right? That's where, and you did it against, I don't know if you did it once against Wake at the end of the first half. And you did it against LSU, multiple. Now, those were gifts, a couple of them. You didn't score on either one of those. But that's where this offense has to get better, man. Once you get inside the 25-yard line, you've got to be better. Against Clemson, you're not going to get inside their 25-yard line much. So you better take advantage. So that's why I think they keep leaving points out there But this is who this team is. Maybe the kicker, and I know he said he trusts the kicker now, so maybe that'll turn the thing around.
Jonesing for FSU. Wake up, first-time poster. Went to Lowndes High. Now I live in Decula. Famous people, Jay Ratliff, the Drew brothers, and now me being in Decula, of course, Corey Clark.
That's right. There you go. Represent. Yeah, half the time I'm up in Decula.
Interesting fact for Valdosta, Doc Holliday resided and had a dental practice for a period of time.
And then he moved to Arizona because he had, what did he have? Not emphysema.
I have no idea.
Tuberculosis? He had whatever he died of, it was supposed to be better. The dry heat was supposed to be better for it. So that's why he moved to Arizona.
Didn't FDR dabble somewhere that had hot springs or something? Was that up in upstate New York?
That was in Georgia. That's in Georgia,
yeah. Yep. Georgia, man, just come heal. But then he went to Arizona.
Right.
Doc, way to go. All right, with the possibility of winning this week against Clemson and Vegas having us in a close game, where would each of you have our end-of-year record were they to beat Clemson? Thanks for all you do. And Corey, let's grab a beer and some Mios.
There you go. Well, how about a vodka and some Mios? I don't know if you squirt Mios in a beer. I guess you could. Seems like that tastes pretty gross. If they beat Clemson, I would say 9-3.
Yeah. I don't have a lot to add to that.
If they don't, and it doesn't look particularly good, ask me after the Georgia Tech game, man. Like I would be really worried about that Georgia Tech game. All of a sudden, they're playing well. They're going to beat Virginia, so they'll be on a 3-game winning streak. They'll be coming into that game with absolutely nothing to lose, probably a 10 or 12 or 15-point underdog. Meanwhile, you are desperate for a win, and you might play tight. And that's one thing I have not liked what I've seen these last 2 weeks.
In a sleepy noon game.
Yeah, that true. Yeah, that too. So you won't have probably a great energetic crowd like you will on Saturday night. And also you will be tight, man. Like we cannot lose this game. This is a game we're supposed to win. And this team has not played well with an expectation of this is a game we're supposed to win. Or when they got a lead and like, oh, let's not blow it. It just like, again, that's the step, man. That's what Atkins said. It's a learned behavior. You've got to learn that when you get up 17-3 on NC State, keep going. Don't play tight. Just keep playing like you've been playing, and that comes back to coaching too, as much as it does the players. Don't coach tight. Don't coach scared. Don't run it every first down. There's just some growing this program still has to do, and I would be really worried about how they would like. I think if they beat Clemson and then go into the bye week, I think they would blow Georgia Tech out. I just think they would. I think they would play with so much confidence. Are you kidding? We just beat Clemson. You're going to come in here and beat us with this quarterback? Give me a break. But if they lose to Clemson and they get a week off to think about it and stew about it, now they're on a 3-game losing streak. People aren't real fired up about the program. And then you're playing a hot Georgia Tech team. Yeah, man, that could get dicey. So, so that's why I say I don't know where I'd put their win total after that Clemson game if they lost. But if they win, 9-3.
That's crazy. You win your bowl game, you could have a 10-win season.
Yeah. I mean, man, they should be 5-1. I shouldn't say they should be because LSU and Louisville both came down to the final play too. But they could be 5-1. Yeah. Like Wake Forest, that ended the way it should. Wake Forest dominated a good portion. The most important part of that game, Wake Forest went on a 28-0 run. So they earned it. That was their win. NC State didn't earn that win. That's what's so frustrating. You just flipping gave it to them. Anyway.
D. Spence, wake up. A win Saturday would be so sweet. It would do so much for the state of the program right now following back-to-back losses. My brain tells me Dabo and company will try to shut down the run game, make Jordan beat them with his arm. If this is the case, we will need the receivers to step up their game. Who could be the most impactful receiver for this game? Fun fact, Clemson defensive lineman Tyler Davis and Florida State defensive back Renardo Green played on the same high school team, which happens to be in my hometown of Apopka, Florida. Go Noles, beat the Tigers.
There you go. Same school as Jalen Carter, who's going to be a first-round pick at Georgia, and Sammy Smith, former FSU All-American running back. Yeah, man, they're not – Florida State cannot run the ball in this team. They just can't. They're giving up 60 yards a game. You're probably without your best running back. You couldn't run on them last year. They will make sure that Jordan Travis's legs can't beat them. But the flip side of that, the positive side of that, is I'm almost positive Clemson is going to have a spy on Jordan Travis. They did it last year. Teams are doing it this year. He just ran for over 100 yards in a game. It's good to put that on film. I know 70 was on one play, but it's good to have that on film. They know he can run. They remember. They've seen it. So they will have a spy on him. And if you take one defender and just have him standing there, making sure the quarterback doesn't run, well, that's one less defender out in the passing game. And Florida State should be able to make plays down the field in the passing game if he has any time to throw. And you don't even really need a ton of time to throw when you're throwing it up to 6-7. So again, I go into all these games where you might be a little bit dominated up front, that 14 has to be the playmaker, because you just don't have an answer for 6-7. There's nothing you can do. He's got to go make the plays, but I would like a few more shots down the sideline to him, and then just go from there. I'd lob it up. If he's got man-to-man up top, I would lob it up to him, I don't know, man, 7 times a game.
Yeah, do the Sam Hartman offense. That's what they
exactly
did.
Right, man. Exactly right. They got Clemson gave up 6 receiving touchdowns and got called for 4 pass interferences in that game. And I know A.T. Perry's really good. Wake's got some dudes out wide. So does Florida State. One guy in particular that has not been really covered all year. Just give him a chance, and we'll see where it goes. Don't run Toafili 18 times. It would be utterly pointless.
You mentioned putting on film's good. They remember it. They remember Jordan, but he didn't run all that well against them last year.
No,
but that was
their whole game plan last year.
Right.
We're not going to let him run against us. Yeah. That's what I meant. Like they had seen him the whole
Okay.
season. Yeah, he didn't do anything against them with his legs, but they knew going in that's the only way we can give up a lot of yards to this offense, letting this dude run, and they didn't. And I got to imagine they'll have very similar game plan this year.
Also, I think I don't know if Sammy Smith went to Wakiva. I think it's Wakiva High School. Maybe Apopka's got 2 high schools now.
He went. Oh, okay, sorry. Yeah, no, he just went to Apopka.
Yeah. Well,
my bad.
Yeah, no, it's fine. I just want to make sure our Central Florida information is correct because we have lots of
Obviously.
people there.
Well done, Aslan. Well done.
Your favorite athletes always strive to put themselves in a winning position. Now it's time you did too with MyBookie. MyBookie's got the biggest online selection of odds and contests to fill all your sporting betting needs anytime, anywhere. Bet on the NFL, Major League Baseball playoffs. Corey, are you gonna hedge against your Bravos? Or
no, I save that for the World Series, man. If they make it,
all right.
That's only because I don't want to jinx it, man. I only did it last year for the World Series, so if they make it again, I'll do it again. Otherwise, what are we gonna do?
Also, they've got big cash prizes in the form of weekly blackjack tournaments. So if you've been waiting for the right time to get in on the action, that time is now. Come on, it's like 7 weeks of college football. You've seen everything. You know these teams. You know the tendencies. Make your winning move today. Go to mybookie.ag, sign up, use the promo code WARCHANT, and you can claim an instant deposit, dollar for dollar, of any amount up to $1,000. Use that promo code, again, WARCHANT, to claim your bonus. Experience sports in a whole new light and make this season a winning one. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere with MyBookie. Florida State still a 3.5-point underdog at home. 51 is your over/under. Maybe the rest of the show will make you feel one way or the other. Head to MyBookie. Get involved. Random_John Corey. Aslan Corey, wake up. It is morning time. That means for the gym rats of Warchant, the sun's out, the guns are out. Work them buns out. Speaking of workouts, what kind of workouts does FSU put their receivers through that made their hands too tired to grab footballs thrown their way during the NC State game? For our kicker, has anyone considered he may have a case of awful gout? That's the reason he looks so terrible when kicking. I mean, I hear that stuff is really painful. Lastly, what do you feel Jordan Travis has to do, here's a serious question, to maintain his cool during pressure situations? After all, Clemson is going to put their best to put him in very untenable, extremely stressful situations. If you, dear listener, are feeling stressed, stop into the corner pocket, have a relaxing meal and a cold beer or a vodka Mio, if that's your thing. Wake up the next day, drink the Luna coffee, and subscribe to War Chant for $10. There's nothing more distressing than the Tribal Council game thread during a game. Go Noles.
Well, correct there on that last point. I mean, I think it's just a matter of growing, like living it. Again, I made this point, but last year when Jordan played his best, they had a losing record. They were 0-4. Nobody expected them to do anything. There were many of us that thought they were going to be 1-11 or 2-10. So those games didn't have a lot of pressure on them. Now, the end of the Miami game did, because they had a 17-0 lead, played tight, let Miami come back, take the lead, and then Jordan Travis just 4th and 14, here goes nothing. And a great throw right after he had another great throw to Ja'Kai earlier on that drive. So he's proven he can do it in pressure situations. He's made some pressure plays. But it's just when you go 4-0 and get ranked and you really start to think you can do something special and you've got a big game against another ranked team and then you kind of spiral in the second quarter and then you go on the road and you're 17-3 against another top 15 team. I haven't really loved the way he's played after that. But he hasn't been in a situation. It's all new to him. Like, he's never played with expectations. Now, these last 2 weeks he did. I thought he played pretty well in the first half against NC. In fact, honestly, I thought he played pretty well the whole game. Like, he wasn't great. No, he wasn't sensational. But if his receivers could catch the ball, it wouldn't have come down to the final drive, man. He would have had an extra touchdown. He'd have been 20 of he had 5 drops. So he ended up being 15 of 30 for like 188 and a touchdown and 2 interceptions. Well, he would have been 20 of 30. Well, they wouldn't even have thrown the last pass. So he'd have been 20 of 29 with 2 touchdowns, 1 interception, and 240 yards of offense. And 240 yards passing and 350 yards of total offense. He played perfectly fine. I thought it's so that the last pass, man, it's just hard to look past that last pass. And he just got a little too greedy, a little too risky. But again, it comes down to learning it, like being in these situations. And much like it's going to take Fitzgerald making a big kick, or the next kick, and then I guess every kick he takes is going to be a big one. But if he makes his next kick, that he sees, okay, I can do it again. I can do this now. I've got my confidence back. I think it's going to take Jordan Travis making some plays down the stretch in a game. Because let's be honest, guys, the only quarterback so far that's brought this team back in the second half of a game, and I thought Jordan played well against Wake, but they were down 28-7, is Tate Rodemaker. So Jordan Travis has to do this once. He has to go make plays in the fourth quarter, real plays. And once he does that, I think, you learn you can do it, and you go from there. And then you got to get him back for 2023, baby.
I just wonder, so much of him is confidence and establishing it early on. I don't know if you can keep doing the same stuff that you had success with earlier on the season or against Boston College, and then how much of that is changing things. Will that affect his psyche? But, man, they've got to roll him out. He's got to keep the ball. If they're going to crash and not that they're going to crash down and totally sell out on Trey Benson or Rodney Hill running the football. But, man, those moments where it's, 60-40, and he's like, I don't think I want to hand the ball off. I don't want to get hit. Man, maybe you need to make that flip at 60-40. I'm keeping this. I'm going to will us to certain situations that are going to make it more advantageous because, yeah, man, I don't think LSU, Jordan Travis we're going to see a lot of that. Man, I think teams are going to adjust. The offensive line's not holding up all that well as much as they did early on in the season. So if he's not going to have time and things aren't going to be there when he's expecting it on schedule, he gets out of sorts. Man, just eliminate those opportunities, man. Make it more easy. Get him on, roll him out, make it one quick, easy read, get the ball out of his hand fast, at least early on, man. And then you can have him play the way you want to conventionally. But for him, more so than anything, it's going to be starting off early, not getting into that kind of tailspin early on, man. He's got to connect and make things happen early. Well,
but also it's when you have a couple 3 and outs, or you have a 3 and out, don't let it turn into 4 in a row.
Yeah. That's
been my biggest issue. They've started fine. He played fine in that first half against NC State. He played fine against Wake Forest, other than, the 5 drives where they did diddly poo. And he kind of spiraled a little bit and then was, very frustrated on the sidelines. That's the stuff I want to see stop, because that's the stuff I used to criticize Blackman for. Like, man, you can't have one bad drive turn into 7 in a row and you just start spiraling. Jordan Travis should be past that. The issue this week, when you're judging your quarterback play, is everybody has 3 and outs against Clemson. They are very good defensively. So it's almost hard to judge, okay, is he spiraling? Is he not seeing it well? Is he playing poorly? Or is it just Clemson's really good and they're tough to score on? It's just a tough team to play.
Hey, guys, looking forward to meeting all of you at the Hotel Indigo Saturday. Biggest thing I'm looking for on a macro level is for us to be up at halftime and to come out on fire in the second half to finish the game.
Maybe get a stop on defense to start the second half.
I think he might have meant what? What is the biggest overall thing you're looking for?
A dub.
Yeah.
A flippin' dub. Just get this thing to 5-2 going into a bye week, and if they beat Clemson, Aslan, I don't know what I'm going to do for the Warchant rap, but it's going to be something. It's got to be something special.
Okay.
What you got any ideas?
I do not.
Cartwheel? Could I do a cartwheel?
Yeah, sure.
I can't do a cartwheel. I've never done a cartwheel, but should I attempt a cartwheel?
Yeah.
What about push-ups?
Okay.
What about a
Some
push-up
burpees,
for every
maybe some
point they
burpees or
score?
something, yeah.
Yeah,
Some
okay.
burpees.
There you go. I'll do some burpees for every point they score.
Affect their quarterback. Don't let them affect ours. I mean, that's, you can say that for every single game. But again, I just think Jordan early on needs to have success. Their quarterback, don't give him early success. Give them some game pressure. Part of me is kind of, I think Clemson's coming into this game ready to really kind of reassert themselves nationally. I'm a little bit concerned about the game, to be honest with you. So if you fall behind early.
Clemson, man, of course.
So
it's not like you're saying you're concerned about Louisiana. No. It's Clemson. You should be concerned. They're awesome.
Island Chief, wake up. The season has been full of games that have offered the opportunity to showcase playmakers. This week, our success depends on making the plays. A play, don't care who makes it. Clemson ranks second in rush defense, so how much is our chance of winning going to be how much of our chance of winning is going to be in establishing a run game?
0.
Okay.
They can't. You're not going to establish the run game. I watch, and it's not something that worked for them, but I think the Buccaneers, when they played the Chiefs maybe or some other team, they threw it like 25 times in a row. Because they knew they couldn't run on them, which is a goofy way to. When you're an NFL team, you should be able to run. But they don't give up running. They just don't. You're not going to run on them. You didn't really run all that well against Boston College. You had a couple long runs, but Boston College hemmed you up for a good portion of that game. You're not going to run on this team. So you can bang your head against the wall and try it, or you can come out and do something. And I know you're a run-first team. I know that's what you're trying to do. But 24 carries for 71 yards is not how you beat Clemson. The only team that has moved the ball consistently against Clemson, how'd they do it, Aslan?
Throwing the ball up in one-on-one situations.
Yep. So that's what I would do. In fact, I'd go to the slow mesh. I'd have Jordan just ride to Wafili like a donkey for 2.5, 3 seconds, then pat him on the back, pull the ball out, and lob it up to 14.
Nullboy02. Hey, Aslan and Corey, wake up. Want to start off by saying I agree with Corey's point with this being Clemson's first real road game. I went back and looked at DJ Uiagalelei in his real road tough environments he's played, and only been 2. NC State last year, Notre Dame during the COVID year. I don't think he'll be facing an environment quite like this one.
His question, great in that Notre Dame game. You remember that? He took like 400-something yards, and you're like, oh, great, man. He's better than Trevor Lawrence. Yeah. This is awesome.
Yeah. His question is, how big is Jakai's return?
I don't know how big it'll be this week if you're talking about just the micro of this week on the micro level. But I think overall for the offense, it'll be, I think it's significant. I think he's a guy that you can get the ball in his hands 4, 5, 6 times a game. He's a playmaker, and he's unlike anybody else you have. Like, look, man, I'm not trying to put these guys I'm not trying to say they're stock guys, like they're just average dudes. They're replaceable. But, like, Portier, Williamson, McLean, they're all kind of the same guy. I think McLean's a little fat, but you know what I mean? Like, they're 6'3", they're outside guys. They're not going to get a ton of separation. You hope they make plays in space or they make competitive catches. Like the one he dropped in the end zone the other night. Ja'Kai Douglas is different than anybody else you got on the team at the wide receiver position. That's good. It's good to have different body types. It's good to have different skill sets. He's got a different skill set than anybody else. And it's cool. It's cool to have somebody like that. So we'll see what that means this week. But I think for the final 5 games of the season after the bye, back when you would think 100% fully healthy, I think it could be. It's nice. It's a nice weapon to have. It's not like a program changer, but he's a decent player. He's a good offensive weapon.
PC_Nole_92. Morning, folks. First-time poster, long-time reader. My first exposure to Warchant was an old coworker of mine reading recruiting nuggets during Jimbo's first class. I'm from Panama City.
What a class. It's a good class.
I'm from Panama City, home of Burt Reed and J-Rob. My dad actually coached Burt when he played hoops at Bay High.
Okay, nice.
My question, how does Norvell look when he's coaching tough? Does he just tell the guys what they are doing wrong, or does he go back to concepts and try to help them get the big picture? Is he a process guy, results guy, or does he simply believe iron sharpens iron and it will work itself out? I look forward to my weekly Clarkisms. Aslan has grown on me over the years, but this weekend I'm hoping for a 2012 James Wilder Jr.-esque effort from our guys. Do all the subscribey stuff. Go Noles.
There you go. Nice. Well, hey, good post. Yeah, I mean, he yells at the guys. He's not polite at times. He does both, though. Like, receivers, he'll say, hey, man, keep that high and tight. Or he'll go and have, like, real talkative, like, real teaching moments with them after a play. He'll sometimes call them over after they've run a rep. So he, to pick the picture I have in my mind is him standing, 30 yards behind the line or in front of the line of scrimmage, like where a deep safety would be, watching the play. And then sometimes he'll watch the replay on the video board of what just happened, and then he'll call either the quarterback over or a receiver over, and he'll talk to him for 10, 15 seconds, have a teaching moment, and have him go back to the sideline or go back to the huddle to run another play. And there are other times where he screams at them if they've done something wrong. And he'll scream from 80 yards away if he has to get their attention. And say, he's a very loud dude. It's mostly teaching, but some of it is admonishing, which I think is how most coaches probably are.
Yeah. And they listen to him, like when he does like yell for their attention, like he'll they seem to take it, even when it's a little bit gruff. Yeah, on Wednesday he was yelling. They didn't end the team period great because, again, the field goal got blocked, and then from there they run out to the outdoor fields and they get right into scout looks. And when he yells, it's mostly, he doesn't really, when it's one-on-one stuff, it's very, hey, man, eyes in, bring the ball in, secure it, next rep, let's go. But when he doesn't like the way things are going, like usually when you see him angry and upset, it's usually more than one person, more than one play, and then he starts yelling in the general vicinity of the entire team to fire them, which is what he did on Wednesday morning. So, he coaches hard. Hopefully it'll be a little bit better here. All right, we need to go into hyper speed, and we got a bunch left. Who is the long one? Shady Knoll, wake up. I'm a South Carolinian. Clemson week, always a big week for me. Trash talking been nonstop. Unfortunately, my Clemson buddies have had a lot to brag about the last few years, but I can see that this team is finally turning a corner and closing the gap. Speaking of which, do you really think these two teams are as evenly matched as the point spread suggests? I'm a little bit surprised Clemson's only favored by 3.5, even with it being in Doak. My sports betting has me this past week. The way my sports betting has went this past week, I'm thinking about laying the hammer on Clemson to win in hopes that at least my bad luck will continue. A little bit reverse psychology, if you will. Hope to see you guys this weekend. I'll be making the long drive down from Charleston on Friday, looking to check out the Corner Pocket for Corey and Jeff's show, happy hour live music, and to try those wings that Corey swears by. Take care. See you this weekend.
Yeah, man. I think Clemson has more talent. You can't even argue that. I don't think that. I know that. But, it's not like they went and dominated Wake. That NC State game was close into the third quarter. It's not like they had much more talent than Florida State last year too, and that was a game in the fourth quarter. I just think the two teams are more even, if this makes sense. The way they play, their efficiency ratings, all this stuff, I think the teams are more even than the rosters are. You look at how Clemson has defended the same teams that Florida State, like Clemson, if you look at their numbers against Wake, Boston College, and NC State, their defensive numbers, and you look at Florida State's defensive numbers against those same three schools, they're very, very close.
Yes.
Very close.
I think it's only maybe like a 5-point difference or something.
A 5-point difference. Yeah. I think Clemson's given up more yardage. I think they've given up more yards per play. Now, a lot of that is Wake, clearly. But, if you watch the way Clemson defended NC State, you watch the way Florida State defended NC State, not much difference. Even though Clemson's got, 6 NFL draft picks, Florida State has 1 that played in that game, maybe 2. I think the odds makers are looking at how these teams play, not just the rosters, and that's why it's gone down. So people are betting on Florida State. So just keep that in mind. I think they're more even than you would think, even though one is undefeated at number 4 and the other one is clearly not undefeated.
Yeah, I just think like that. There's nothing on this team that's elite. Florida State. I like the receivers. I like the safeties. Maybe the safeties are, but it's two dudes. Like that defensive line has got like 5 elite players. Like
that's why you gotta try to take them out of the game.
Yeah,
and throw quick lobs up to your big giant. That's what I would do, but I'm just a simple man. I'm a caveman. I don't know football, but I would just throw it up to the one advantage I have, which they cannot cover, is the 6'7" kid. And if he's getting man to man, even if he's not, I'd throw it up to him a lot.
Yeah, and that's part of my concern. Winkles' question, AO, keep up the good content, shows part of my morning routine. I see Clemson will have much, if not all their defense back together for the first time this year. How much of an impact do you think that will have on the game? First time playing together on the road against a pretty good offense has to present some issues for Clemson. Yeah, I mean, I don't think they're going to find any sort of extra gear, but this isn't a bad thing for them, all these guys being back. I don't think they're going to pitch a shutout against Florida State. But again, there's just so much depth. And again, I think they're going to come in this game really motivated because they didn't look all that great on the road last time out. Well, they looked all right against Boston College. But I think that Wake Forest game is maybe giving them a little bit of a bad rap. And I think they know they can change the entire narrative by coming here and slowing down a really, really good offense. So I'm very concerned about it. It's going to be a big impact. Corey, you want to grab that?
Man, who's ringing my doorbell?
Corey had company. He's got a buddy. They're ready to go on a journey together. So that even adds more urgency. I can't wait to see how Corey's going to finish these next 15 minutes.
I told him to be 15. It's going to be 5, and I told him to be here at 1:45. He got here at 1:15. But that's Shane. In the morning,
everybody. In the morning, we're recording this late Wednesday night into Thursday morning for you at 1:15
sure.
in the morning.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow, 427. Wake up, gentlemen. He's all in on Mike Norvell. He is all in. And he doesn't want to diminish Coach Atkins. But do you think they need some more help because there's too much on Norvell's plate? What do you think about adding someone like George Henshaw to the staff as a tactical advisor? Put him up in the booth on game days to help out.
I mean, you don't want too many voices, honestly. You don't want too many chefs in the kitchen. I think, Norvell's just got to get better at some things, which, you assume he will. Again, though, I think this goes back to the question we had earlier. Let's see what it looks like, the totality of the season and the totality of the offense before we start judging it off these last 2 weeks against good teams. You know what I mean? They're not going to score much against Clemson. So I'm sure those calls will get louder. But this is not a Jimbo thing where, you've seen what this offense at A&M has done for years. This is a guy that, we saw a lot of strides in this offense through the first 4 weeks, and then magically they start playing better teams, and the offense doesn't look as good. Let's see what it looks like against Florida, against Miami, against Georgia Tech, and then go from there, see what the totals are at the end of the season, and then you could make some realistic suggestions for improvement. Or I would say realistic judgments. Okay, man, that didn't work. The offense was still the exact same as it was last year. When all the dust cleared, it produced at the same rate it did last year. That's not good enough. You got to do something else. But right now, we're still halfway through a season. 9:01, wake up, quick and easy. How does playing this game at night and at home translate to points? I think Clemson would win the game by 2 scores if it was in Death Valley at night. Since it's in Doak, I think it'll. I don't know. I don't want to hurt people's feelings. What do you think, Corey? Yeah, I think there's a difference. I think Vegas gives it anywhere from 4 or 5 points swing, 3 to 5 point swing when a game's on the road, and I think it should be an extra 1.5 or 2 when it's at night, especially at a football school at night. It's just a different feel. You're not going to win the game because you're playing at home at night. You still have to go play well, but there's just a different energy. There's just a different energy when you have a football crowd that's into the game, that's going to be there the whole game, that's loud and truly believes you can win and truly believes they can help you win. They feed off that. 20-year-olds feed off that kind of stuff, and it can impact negatively the 20-year-olds on the other sideline, especially guys that haven't been through it a whole lot. DJ's played a lot of football, sure. He's not played in a ton of really raucous environments. And when he has, other than Notre Dame, which was COVID, so it was a half a crowd, he has not played all that well. So again, if he comes out and plays really well against 70,000 fans at night, against a solid defense, kudos, man. They deserve it. But he hasn't done that yet. Seminole fan 89, wake up. I have to admit, we've actually kind of touched on this. He did not think we'd be 4-2 heading into Clemson. But anyways, what would a win do for the confidence of our team? And most important, would a win guarantee at least 9 wins? It would not guarantee at least 9, but it puts you right on that path, man. I would certainly think if you're 5-2 with the stretch you have coming up, you just beat Clemson, who's the toughest team on your schedule. You should have beaten NC State, who might be the second toughest team on your schedule. I think that would bode well for beating, winning 4 of those 5 games, because you're going to be in all of them. At Syracuse is tough. Florida at home is tough. At Miami is going to be tough. But you could certainly win 2 of those 3 if you can beat Clemson.
The Walking Knoll 01, what's up? Me and my 2 friends will be at the game Saturday. I'm pumped. Hopefully the Noles can squeeze out this dub like they did when I came last year for the Miami game. How many rushing yards does Jordan Travis need for us to win the game? What percentage chance would you say we see the old flea flicka make a return?
I don't know. You would hope they'd have something lined up for this week. I don't know. There's no number on it. He has to make an impact with his legs. I would say a better number is how many first downs will he run for with his legs. And I would say last week he had 3, including one that was 70 yards. I think you need at least that much. If he can get you 3 first downs with his legs, I don't care if it's 3rd and 3, and he keeps it and gets you 5 yards. I think that's a bigger, a bigger deal than, or a bigger gauge, a better gauge than just how many total rushing yards he has. If he has 250, they're going to win the game, though.
Yeah. Well, that Norvell said it, too. He's like, if you would have told us that we'd have over 200 yards rushing, he's like, I would have had a pretty good idea how that game was going to turn out.
Yeah.
And it did not. So
Correct.
These hallmarks rarely matter.
Yes, exactly.
Texas Noles 711. Hey, guys, after tough losses to Wake and Clemson, do you think it almost relieves the pressure of winning and allows FSU to play more loose? It now seems as if we're not supposed to win after losing those previous 2. I'm specifically thinking about Jordan Travis playing with more confidence.
Yeah, I do think it helped. They should play loose. They should be the looser team. They don't have nearly as much to play for as Clemson. Clemson should have some actual pressure on them, especially if it's in the 3rd quarter and it's a close game, or the 4th quarter if it's a close game. The counter to that, though, is Florida State didn't have a ton of pressure on them against NC State until they got a big lead. And then they tightened up and kind of shrank in the moment, and that might happen again. And are they going to handle that better? If they get a 2-score lead on Clemson, are they going to handle it better than the 2-score lead they had against NC State? Again, that's learned behavior and growing pains, and you hope they can figure that out. I'd say going into the game, there's no pressure. But if you're up 24-14 in the 4th quarter, facing a 3rd and 7, and a first down here can maybe wrap up the game, there is pressure in that. And do you play that well, or do you get tight? And that's what you still have to wait and see about.
My truth, wake up. This game features 2 defenses that give up less than 21 points. The winner scores 24. Who is the winner? Hold that thought, because Mark from Naples, shout out Naples, Southwest Florida. We love you guys. Wake up. Keeping it short this week. This would be a program changer to win this game. We've narrowed the gap. Now it's time to close it. I like the matchup. Jordan will need to have a career game, but he can do it. Fitz, going to need you to make some kicks. If those 2 things happen, we can rattle DJ like we rattled Van Dyke in the Miami game last year. I'm seeing a 24-20 Noles win. So there you go, my truth.
Well, there you go.
Mark,
there you go. Hey, like Mark said, yeah. So you're going to need 1 kick from Fitzgerald is what it sounds like.
Or just three touchdowns,
24.
3 2-point conversions.
Or 8 field goals. However you want to get to 24 points. I think it's a race to somewhere around there, right? Mid-20s.
Yeah.
I think so. You're not going to score 30 points against this team. No. And, they haven't shown – again, against Boston College, they were really bad in the first half. And they kind of ran away with it in the second half when they, including a 28-yard scoring drive. So, it was 3-3 with 3 minutes to go in the second quarter of that game. And then they got a short punt that they returned to the Boston College 28, scored in a few plays, took a 10-3 lead in a halftime, and got a stop, and that was a wrap. Their offense was not good in that game. It leads me to believe that if you can hold them to 20-ish, you give yourself a chance and you should win that game. I would say 21-24 is the magic number.
Okay.
And if they score 30, come on, man, that's gross.
2 more. HM 1097. Wake up, Noles. It's Clemson week. Early vibes of the season were unmatched, but even the casual college football fan realizes that the 4 teams we beat were not playing up to their names, especially Duquesne. LSU did not play up to the par. Louisville and BC are not good teams. That could be debated. The team's emotions were riding a bit too high going to Wake, NC State as well after halftime. They lost focus. Nobody, players, he says, on this roster knows how to win consistently at the college level. They haven't lived that life yet, but they are well on their way. Please, let's all calm down, get some perspective. Still a ton to play for, and we can still exceed preseason expectations even if we lose. Miami and Florida both look, well, not very ominous.
Yeah, but neither does Florida State. Yeah. Like they all look about the same. I think Miami's probably the worst of the 3 right now, but who knows, man? Maybe that quarterback finally found something this past week. Yeah, man. Yes, they do need to learn how to win consistently. That why would they know how to do that? They never have. So that's why, again, you had a win at your fingertips, man. It was right there, literally at your fingertips 5 times, and you didn't do what you had to do to win that game. And that's why 5-1. I think that's showing a way you're starting to learn how to win. Instead, in that instance, you found a way to lose. And I don't think this team with Norvell has found a way to lose very often, right? Like there haven't been many games where you'd point to and go, man, they had that thing wrapped up and just blew it.
Except last week's game, but
No, that's what I'm saying. That game.
Yeah.
But before the NC State game, can you think of one where like, man, they had that thing wrapped up and just blew it at the end? I'm sure there is one that's not coming to mind, but usually they were just kind of, they lost. Yeah. All the games last year, maybe Jacksonville State, I guess that's one you could point to. People are probably screaming at me for that one. But other than that, they're games that they didn't find ways to lose. They just got beat.
Well, Clemson game last year.
But that's a better team they lost to. And I wouldn't say they found a way to lose. They had a couple of miracle plays to be in the lead in that game. And then Clemson drove down the field and they didn't tackle them. But they didn't give the game to Clemson. I felt like Clemson other than a goofy personal foul call, Shipley went and won the game, made a play to win the game. That game, you gave the game away. NC State didn't do it. You literally threw the ball to the guy. They had a scoring drive of minus 23 yards because of your punter and still won. That's that. You threw an interception at the 40, at your own 40. You kept giving them the ball. If you don't do that, I feel like you win the game. You just made too many mistakes. But stop doing that. Learn how to win. Learn how to win those moments, Aslan.
We once did a show with like 43 questions, maybe more than that, and it was like an hour 20. And we just did like 28. And I don't know what we got to do to get better, but we will. Last one, Mobile Knoll.
We can stop reading all the questions.
Mobile Knolls. Any play caller in the NCAA to help Norvell as an analyst or co-offensive coordinator, who would you take? I did not think the final play call was that bad, but it is clear we need some diversity in the pass game because we rely on too many splash plays down the sidelines. Eat Zaxby's, drink the Luna, go Noles.
Dillingham.
Bring him back home. Home, Kenny. Yeah.
No, I mean, look, let's address it at the end of the year, man. I'm not saying he doesn't need help. I need more data than 6 games, because sometimes this offense has looked really good. It is better than it was last year, but it's about to have what you will probably deem another step back because it's not going to look great this week. Nobody does, but at the end of the year, they might have some really good numbers, and they might have improved by a touchdown or 6 points per game. That's good. That's really good improvement. That's solid. That's what you wanted. There aren't a lot of perfect offenses out there. I get what you're saying. You want, they don't have they don't seem to have like a consistent, reliable passing attack in the sense that, okay, 2nd and 8, you're going to get 11 yards here. You're going to get 10. You're going to get 7 yards on first down. Just a quick, simple 7-yard pass on first down. They don't do that a ton, but they're also a run-first team that just couldn't run in the second half of that game, and so it made everything look bad.
When in the history of the sport has a coach who's specialized on one side of the ball had to bring in somebody to take it back over, and it's worked out well? It was like Willie bringing in Kendall Briles. Like, we thought it was going to be a good idea. It was better than it was previously, but obviously you're in a big issue when your offensive-minded head coach has to start giving away and delegating stuff because he can't figure it out. And I mean, A&M, that's the next bridge they're going to cross in College Station is apparently maybe Jimbo's finally going to let go of the offense, at which point then why are you paying him $90 million? If he's not calling plays and designing plays and it's not his offense, what are you paying him for? What are we doing with Mike Norvell if he's not calling plays? If he's got to give it up?
Saban's not calling defensive sets. Neither's Kurt. Well, Kirby is still, but Saban isn't. He delegates. He still has his hands in it. It's still his defense.
He's also finding these guys. He's picking these guys out. He's groomed them, and they're taking over. And he's at a point in his career where he's been afforded this. But early on, when he got this thing juiced back up, I mean, it was his blueprint, his fingerprints. Certain guys pulling the.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think Norvell's going to go hire somebody, Kendall Briles per se, and say, "Hey, it's your offense. I'm no hands on. Just." Tell me when we should punt. Like, he's not going to do that. It's going to be his offense. He's going to have his fingerprints on it. But I don't necessarily think that he's just going to be the OC for the rest of the time here. I mean, Bobby Bowden gave it up. Jimbo would never give it up at Florida State. But I think there's a chance that could happen. But, yeah, man, I don't foresee that happening going into next year. Norvell's going to be like, you know what? This was a failed experiment. Get me so-and-so on the phone. But, yeah, he could certainly use like we all could. He could use different viewpoints, maybe tweaking things here and there, but everybody can. But let's see. Let's see after they get done playing the 3 best teams on the schedule what we think of the offense at the end of the year. If it's averaging 27 points a game again, it's struggling on third down again, it spirals out of control for 6 drives at a time again, the last half of the season, then, yep, all options should be on the table. All right, and with that, I'm going to go shower and go to a Braves game, everyone.
All right, that's Corey. Live show, maybe Thursday night coming up later tonight. Maybe. If not, happy hour live, Corey, Jeff hanging out, 5:30 to 6:30. And then Jeff Cameron show, 1 to 3 o'clock, rest of the week. Recruiting chat already happened. Hope you enjoyed it. For Corey, I'm Aslan. Thank you for listening to Wake Up Warchant, presented by the Corner Pocket Bar and Grill.